If you've split up with someone you have kids with and want to win them back, the first most important thing you need to do is become a challenge to that person. In this video, I'll tell you why this is critically important and exactly how to achieve it, especially when you have children together and can't cut off contact. And what else besides being a challenge is worth doing to have the best possible chance of getting that relationship back. First, some good news. The fact that you have children together drastically increases the chances that you'll manage to get that relationship back if you finally start doing what works. Because despite appearances, even if your ex says right now they don't love you anymore, that they don't want anything from you, even if there's a lot of hostility between you, you still have the opportunity, above all, to see each other regularly while caring for the child or children, and that gives you quite a lot of time and space to influence that person. If you start showing yourself from a completely different side and increase your attractiveness in a skillful way, then those feelings that were once between you can start coming to the surface again. It's much worse, of course, if that person is already in another relationship. I won't sugarcoat it for you here. The chances drop drastically then, especially if there's already a new infatuation. There's already a really nice, mature relationship there. Then it'll probably be better to let it go completely. However, even then, you're a much bigger threat to your ex's new relationship than you might think, but that's a topic for a completely different episode. Now let's focus on why, in the first place, you really must become a challenge for this person so that anything can happen between you. Let me show you how it usually looks based on all those hundreds of stories I've heard. It looks like this. The person trying to get their ex back is nice all the time, always within reach, always showing that they love, that they care, and trying to beg their ex to give them one more chance. That it's there, showing that it's their biggest dream, that they'd want it for the good of the family, for you to be together and so on. And as long as you have that approach, nothing has the right to happen between you. Because showing availability shows lower attractiveness on an animal level. It's not logical, it's not cool, it's not nice. Of course, it would be ideal if you could convince your ex to come back to you, but that's not how our nature works. We don't live in such an ideal fairy tale world where our wishes come true when we really want something, but we live in a brutal evolutionary world. And that's exactly what our evolution has adapted us for. That when we see someone running after us, our senses, our internal intuitions, hunches, tell us that the person running after us is of lower value than we are, so we shouldn't get involved with them. On the other hand, it works so that the person who is unavailable, who ignores us a bit, who is attractive in many other ways, physically for example, but doesn't run after us, but shows that they are actually uninterested. And this applies to both women and men. Such a person is much more attractive. So as long as your ex knows they can come back to you at any time, as long as they feel that just one word is enough and you'll be together again, until then, nothing can happen between you. This isn't just some theory pulled out of a book. This is knowledge based on over a dozen years of conducting consultations, listening to the stories of hundreds of saved relationships in exactly these situations. I did my first consultations when I was 20, so 17 years have passed since I've been dealing with this topic, and I've really cut my teeth on it, so I know it's not pretty, but that's how it works. You must become a challenge. Now the question is how to do it. The first basic step is cutting off all signs of interest, meaning you must stop showing that you still care. Not only must you end all topics regarding whether we'll get back together, whether you still love me, whether you miss me, or if you're seeing someone. Nothing like that can take place. You can't talk about it, you can't ask about it. If you weren't interested, then it simply wouldn't interest you, so you must stop showing interest in exactly that regard. You can't suggest that you're waiting all the time and that you're always available, that you're even interested in getting back with this person. This is the basic foundation. Besides that, you must cut off all terms of endearment like kitty, teddy bear, mousy, and so on. Even if, for example, you say Monica instead of Monishko or Darek instead of Darechku, anything like that really, this still communicates in its own way that you still care. Even if that person is used to the fact that for years, practically your whole life, you've used terms of endearment, it's high time to change that. It's exactly this change that will be a message that, oh, something has changed. Why don't you use terms of endearment with me anymore? Then you can say, of course, that, well, we're not together, it's high time to end it, and that's it. Like, you don't have to explain yourself too much, you just have to take a step back and stop showing any interest in any way. Besides that, don't contact them without a reason, just to exchange a few words, to say how your day went, to write good morning or good night, to call even under some pretext that your ex sees is a pretext, because normally you wouldn't call under that pretext, so limit contact to a minimum. Unless you have to settle something, you have to agree on some matter with the children's school or picking up the kids. Then it's okay, you can call, settle the matter, and end that contact. You must be nice, but not interested. And the same applies to your ex. If he calls about some matter, then answer, talk, but don't drag out the conversation by force. Well, unless your ex asks how you are, well then you don't have to run away like some wild animal from the forest. Just say how you are since he asked you, just as you would answer some female friend you're also not interested in. But don't drag it out indefinitely. Don't show how much enthusiasm there is that your ex graciously asks how you are. You can of course also ask one question: how are you doing? Listen, but let that other person be the one chasing after you. So in this regard, you also need to pull back. Plus, it won't hurt if you occasionally show a lack of interest. If you don't reply once in a while, at least not right away, but say after a day and then apologize for forgetting, don't pick up the phone, end the call quickly, saying, you know what, I have to go, I'm a bit tired. You don't give any major, serious reason. Like, for instance, I just had a fender bender and I have to hang up. Because that wouldn't be showing any disinterest. Instead, your ex should occasionally get a little jab, a gentle reminder, that shows you are no longer quite as interested as you once were. That means they can wait for your response, whether it's for a text reply or even for you to call them back. Let them notice that shift, that subtle change in your attitude, so they realize things are different now. Unless they're pushing harder to reach you, then of course reply, but always after ignoring them in a minimal way. Always apologize nicely to minimize any hostility that might arise, and don't worry about that hostility. It's actually a good sign, because if your ex is annoyed, like, why didn't you reply? You're ignoring me. It means it bothers them. It means they're paying attention to it. So that's good. Apologize nicely. That hostility will quickly evaporate, but it'll be another step, another brick in the wall of you becoming that challenge. And very importantly, you must be incredibly consistent in this action. You can't be a great challenge for 2 weeks and show you're pulling back, and then while drunk, send texts, call and say you still love them, or even sober, ask if we'll ever be together again, because that kills your chances and shows again that you're actually thinking about getting back together. The more inconsistencies like that, the higher the chance your ex will see it's some kind of game, and the whole strategy won't work at all. And most importantly, give yourself time. Give yourself at least a month, maybe 2 or even 3, to stay in this withdrawal, to get your ex used to the fact that you're no longer chasing, that you've pulled back, and that will cause curiosity to appear at first, that something has changed, that you're different now than you were before. So the first signs of interest from your ex might start to appear. That person will call more often, be nicer, suggest meeting up, maybe keep the conversation going, and that's great, but you can't let yourself get caught by that. Your ex can't see that just one step from them is enough for you to be all in again. Super enthusiastic. Already agreeing to that meeting? Immediately, yes, dragging those conversations on forever. Watch out for that, because now you have to step into the position of the person the ex chases, not the one chasing the ex. This is also a very important part of the strategy because, again, it's very easy to ruin everything, and as quickly as you became a challenge, you can stop being one again. And unfortunately, there are many traps along the way. However, this whole strategy of becoming a challenge is just one of many elements of the overall strategy for getting back together after a breakup. Because even if you manage to become a challenge, to revive those feelings, to make your ex start feeling something for you again, it doesn't mean that person will, first of all, come back to you, and second, even if they do, that the relationship will last. Because your relationship didn't fall apart without a reason. You have to realize that to end a relationship after such a long time as you were together, since you have children, it was certainly quite a lot, and if you still have children, then this decision to break up is incredibly huge. It was something unimaginably uncomfortable for your ex because raising a child or children in a broken family is much, much harder, and normally just harder to handle all that logistics with dropping off and picking up the kids, and harder financially. So to make such a decision, there really had to be a very solid reason for it. Something must have been wrong in this relationship. Something must have pushed your ex to such desperation to even allow this breakup to happen. You have to understand what it was, what specifically didn't work in this relationship, what you could have done better on your end. What relationship skills were you lacking? Because if you don't do that, then even if you get back together, if you get back together at all, because there will also be a much smaller chance, it will be very hard to maintain that relationship simply. You'll go back to how it was and most likely everything will fall apart again. That's why you need to draw conclusions from what went wrong. Gain the most important relationship skills. Work on yourself, on your attractiveness, and thanks to that, through such a complete change, return to this person on completely new terms as a new person. On top of that, show it between the lines that you've really changed, that you've worked on yourself and are working on yourself, and it's worth doing it at the same time. On one hand, you become a challenge, but on the other hand, you show that you're working on yourself, only you can't talk about it directly. Because if you tell your ex, listen, I went to therapy, I'm gaining some relationship skills, I signed up for some program, then your ex might take it as trying to convince them that, look, now I'm changing, come back to me, and you'll be destroying your challenge frame by doing that. So that unfortunately doesn't work. You have to do it consistently, strategically, only when it comes to gaining all those relationship skills. They don't teach us this in schools. There's very little material on this subject. That's exactly why we created our program, in which we help people, especially those like you who have children after a breakup, to fix this family and to actually undergo such a deep personal metamorphosis. If you would like it not to be just a blind fight, facing it all alone for your family, but instead you want proper support and you truly want to significantly increase your chances of getting your family back, then this is the right path for you. You want to gain all those relationship skills under our guidance, be able to contact our expert almost every day and consult every step you take, consult the entire communication strategy, setting up meetings and so on. Then sign up now for a free conversation in which we'll check if you even have a chance in your specific situation to get this person back, and if you qualify for our 90-day program with a guarantee. This means that if you don't win back your loved one within 90 days with our help, we'll continue working with you for free until you succeed. This isn't a cheap program. You'll receive a massive amount of individual support, group workshops, and many specialists will be dedicated to helping you. So it's a major project, but I guarantee you there's nothing more intensive when it comes to increasing your chances of saving your relationship than joining our program. So if you're interested, click the link below this video right now. Sign up for your first free consultation. Thanks. Talk soon. Robert Marshall.